T6, T7. If some of y'all are testing soon, when I say testing soon, that means taking the T6. Trust me, tonight is still going to be beneficial. The math is pretty much the same. The number of questions, and I'm going to dive into this with you all, and then we're actually going to do some problems tonight. The number of questions from each topic are different, T6 versus T7, but the main difference is going to be how you're going to answer some of the questions. The TEAS is no longer pure multiple choice once it comes into effect, and I think it's June 3rd is when the T7 kicks in. But again, for those of y'all, math, T6, T7, the topics are the same. The number of questions are going to be a little bit different, and the way that you're going to answer some of the questions. For example, multiple choice, that's always been there. Fill in the blank, we're going to see that tonight. Ordered response, you will have to drag and rearrange some things. Excuse me. And I have purchased ATI's new T7 resources, and this other one, select all that apply. I did not see that on their math practice. Like, they have practice test A, practice test B, and I did see some questions where you had to drag some things around. You had to fill in the blank. It wasn't multiple choice. I did not see one that was select all that apply, but y'all, just coming from a math guy, I think they could easily incorporate that into the math portion of the TEAS. So I'm going to show you all an example of what I would think select all that apply would be. Now for this last one here, y'all, the hotspot, I'm guessing it's going to be, if you're looking at a diagram of something, I haven't looked at the science or the English or the reading, but I could see where maybe you're given a diagram of, say, a heart, and you have to click on certain parts of the heart. That's what the hotspot means. And for more detailed information here, I will share everything that you see here on the screen. Everything, all the notes that we do tonight, I'll share this over in the group. But for more information, this is directly at ATI's website. So y'all probably have seen this here, and I'm only focusing solely on the math. So for the math, right here, 34 questions, whereas right now it's 32. Notice the breakdown here. The breakdown is quite a bit more half and half, I guess you could say. The way it's currently right now, numbers and algebra is pretty much the whole daggone test. Whereas, right here, numbers and algebra, measurement and data, it's about half and half. So that's one of the big changes. Right here, multiple choice items, always been there. And these are the ones that I'm going to do with you all tonight. Select all that apply. Again, I did not see one on ATI's newest resources, but I could easily see how they could incorporate that into the math portion. Supply answer items. Basically, this is fill in the blank. And notice it could be text-based or numerical values. So you could see this on the English or reading, for example. I don't think the hotspot's going to pop up for the math portion, but look at what it says. These questions include an image with 2 to 5 clickable areas. I'm thinking a diagram, and you have to click on something. And then tonight, what we will see you all is ordered response. They're going to give you where you have to drag some boxes around, and you may be thinking, how can that be related to math? I'll show y'all an example, but basically you're going to have to put some numbers in order. I'm almost certain that's the type of question they're going to ask you for a ordered response, where you have to put something in some type of order. We'll see that right here shortly. But good news, the resources that I have available are still going to be good for the T7. And it's been like that for T5, T6, and now T7. If there is some stuff that's really popping up brand new, y'all, I've been doing this for a long time. Hang tight. I will be sure to keep y'all updated on it. The college I work at, there's people taking the TEAS test there as well. So I'm very much in the know of what's going on in regards to the TEAS test. Other things that I want to show you all. So this is the TEAS prep. They have updated this. So it is T7 ready. I'm not trying to say all this. I don't work for ATI. But the thing that I wanted to show you all was, where did I see that calculator? But there's a picture of what the calculator looks like. And it's somewhere up here. As a matter of fact, if I just go type in TEAS calculator, I bet you it's going to be an image. There we go. So looking right here, this is the TEAS calculator. And I have had a chance to play around with this. I have, like I said, I've purchased the new resources. I have used this calculator, and there is going to be a little trick here that I'm going to show you all tonight, and I've never showed it to students before, on the percent button. I've played around with this calculator enough, and I do want to show y'all a shortcut with the percent button. So more on that in a little bit, but this is what the TEAS calculator looks like. I do recommend, if you can afford it, at least buying maybe the version A and version B exam. Again, I don't work for ATI, but one of the main reasons I would say do it is just so that you can get used to that calculator. I know it's not cheap. Again, I don't work for ATI, but I mean, that's just one reason. From a math perspective, I would say practice with that calculator, especially with the percent button and this square root button. I do not mess with M plus, M minus, none of that junk across the top. I don't mess with those. The percent key, I am going to show y'all how to use it. And I've actually stayed away from using that in the past because I haven't really used this particular calculator before. But like I said, since I've done this now, since I've purchased their resources, I know how that percent button works, and I'm going to show y'all some things. Let's see, let me flip back over. My workbook, my multiple choice review, everything's getting updated right now. As a matter of fact, the multiple choice review, what I'm in the process of doing is doing some of those drag and drop to rearrange numbers or to put things in order. I'm going to include that in my multiple choice review, and I'm also going to include some check all that apply, and I'm also going to include some fill in the blank. That's how I'm going to be updating the multiple choice review, and also my workbook. There's a big update coming for it as well. What I'm working on with the workbook, for those of you that have it, I know there's a lot of stuff in that workbook, and I'm creating a brand new section, and that section is going to be for those of y'all who want to just pretty much cut the crap, show me the most important things. I'm creating a section in the workbook, pure multiple choice, and it's going to show you the most important topics that I think you need to know for the math portion of the TEAS. I hope to have that available next week, the free update. Again, if y'all have any of this stuff, this is included at no additional charge. I'll answer those questions later. So, I'm ready to get started. I'm gonna say this one more time. Can everybody hear me? Is the video clear enough? I am recording this. I will post this on YouTube when I'm done, but I'm about ready to get to it and do some math. What I do want to show y'all, they do have an ebook. The ebook, y'all, if y'all have already purchased a ATI TEAS study manual, I got them all the way back from 2015, 2016. And guess what? So, for math, some of the problems are the same. Way back from 2015, 2016. Right here beside me, which one is this that I have right here beside me? I got the 2020 and 2021 version. And then what I bought here was the ebook the other day. And you can see right here, if I just zoom back out, this is how they offer the ebook, by the way. You can see here, this is the 2022, 2023. I've literally got right here in my hand the 2020, 2021, and some of the problems are identical. They changed a few of the words, but the math is the same. So if you have an older version, hang on to it. Now, the reading portion. I don't teach reading, but let me go ahead and put this first problem up here. I was looking at the reading practice exam briefly, and doggone it, there is math on the reading portion of the TEAS. In this new package that they are selling, and maybe it was in the past, there is actually a math problem that pops up in like a reading passage. So here's what I'm going to do, y'all. This is how I make this interactive. I'm going to set this timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Feel free. Fill in the blank, by the way. Fill in the blank. This reading question, something similar to this in their test package, not identical, is a fill in the blank. So 1 minute, 30 seconds. Feel free to come in on the comments and type in your answer. I like to make this as interactive as possible. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I do see a couple of answers coming in on the comments. Good. So this is an example. Again, this was from ATI's official resources in the reading practice. I can't remember if it was practice test A or B or if it was both of them, but there was in the reading section, there was a math problem. I'm talking about money. And I see $8,190 coming in. This is one of those problems where I would say, don't do a proportion unless you really think you need to. And when it involves money, a lot of times we do think about multiplying and things like that. So if a nurse earns $45.50 for every hour that he or she works, and each shift is 12 hours. So right off the bat, I'm going to take the $45.50 and I'm going to multiply that by 12. And you can actually do this all in one swoop, but let me just kind of break it down for you. So $45.50 times 12, this is how much she's going to make per shift. $546. Now, she works 3 shifts each week. And we need to take that into consideration. She doesn't work 7 days a week. She works 3 shifts each week. So let's triple this amount. And what this amount right here is going to tell us, she's going to make $1,638 per week. So this is not one of those problems where you do a proportion. It's just knowing why you should be multiplying. So again, this up here was per shift. This is per week. Read the question carefully. How much will she gross in 5 weeks? And by the way, if you didn't know what gross means, gross is how much you make before any deductions, before taxes, before insurance. This is not her take-home pay. So let's multiply this by 5 because it's 5 weeks in all, and there is that $8,190. Now, some other things to point out to you all is that if it's a money problem, you don't want to type in any dollar symbols. Sometimes you'll type in decimals, sometimes you won't. For this one right here, and it'll tell you what to type in and what not to type in. So therefore, in this case here, you would just type in 8,190. This is an example of a fill in the blank, and yes, it was popping up on the reading portion. So here comes an example of geometry, word problem, percentages, all those topics together, and this is going to be a fill in the blank. I'll do 1 minute and 30 seconds. I have a cool calculator shortcut. I've never showed it to students before. So y'all are in for a treat right here in a moment. Try this one out. Feel free to comment. All right, so here we go. This is a geometry problem. We see rectangles, we see lengths and widths, then we see a percentage flying up, and sometimes with your geometry problems, T6 and T7, it will not specifically say what is the area or what is the perimeter and things like that. So, in this particular case, since Cynthia has a large rectangular dining room table, I'm just going to draw a rectangle. And I do see some answers coming in. Emily, Bethlehem, and Stephanie, and Sharon. Sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly. Very nice. Y'all, I got a cool calculator shortcut that I can show y'all that works on the TEAS calculator. So this table is 11 feet by 6 feet. And if we're talking about a tablecloth, we are not talking about the perimeter. No, we're not. We're not just going around the edge of the table. We are covering the whole table. And also down here, that right there is an indicator. Hey, let's find the area. Square feet, square inches, square miles, square meters, square anything is area always. Now the area of a rectangle, you definitely want to know it. Multiply your length, 11 feet, times your width, which is 6 feet. And most people just say 11 times 6. And it is 66. And just to emphasize, check it out, y'all. Since we are taking 11 feet times 6 feet, that is square feet. 66 square feet. That's one reason why you always hear people talking about, when you want to lay carpet in a bedroom, one of the main things people want to know is what's the area, because you're covering that surface. Now, this answer right here would be incorrect for fill in a blank because, take note, Cynthia plans on purchasing 20% more cloth than she actually needs. And why? She wants to drape it over the sides. If y'all have ever eaten at a table with a tablecloth, more than likely you have some hanging over the sides. Now let me show you the way that I have always taught students how to do this. The way that I've always taught students how to do this is if you want to find, in this case, 20%, we want to find 20% of 66. And I'm still going to teach it this way, but I'm going to show you a shortcut way. So if we want to find 20% of 66, 66 is the whole area of that table. But we want to find 20% of that because she wants to buy a little bit more. Now, the way I've always taught this in the past, convert your percent to a decimal, and either you move your decimal 2 places to the left, or you can take that percentage and divide it by 100. So we get 0.2 or 0.20. We want 20% of, very common time when you can multiply, 66. So let's do that. Let's take 20%, that's 0.2, of multiply 66, press enter. This is how much extra she's going to need. This is the extra that she's going to need. Now, what do we have to do from here? We need to add these two values together. She's going to need the 66 square feet just to cover the top, and then that 20% extra, she needs that to drape around the sides, and that's where that total's coming from. That's 79.2. And y'all, you know, though this has nothing to do with sales tax or discounts or buying things that are 20% off, whatever, all those percentage problems, we can still apply similar concepts. Now, what I want to show you all is a way that the TEAS calculator, not every single calculator with a percent button works like this. This is coming from a guy that's been teaching math for over 15 years. Calculators with percent buttons, the percent buttons work different. And since I finally got my hands on the TEAS calculator because I did their practice test, I know how their percent button works. And it actually works to your advantage. Now, obviously, this is not the exact TEAS calculator. What I'll do right here in a second is I'll pull it up. I can do the same thing on this one. I have set up this calculator to where it kind of has the same button layout as the TEAS calculator, and I've also set up this percent button to work the same way. Watch this. What we want to do is we want to take the original area of 66 square feet, and we want to, what did we do? What did we do, y'all? We found 20% and we added it to it, right? But we did the 20% over here to the side. But once we found that 20%, we added it to the 66 to get this total area. Well, here's what you can do if you want to add 20%, or if you want to add any percent. Type in the 66, and I'm going to put plus. Watch what I'm going to do here. And instead of me typing the 13.2, we can actually, on the TEAS calculator, you can type in plus 20 with the percent key. So I got 66 plus. I'm going to type in 20 with the percent. And now on the TEAS, you'll have to press enter. I'm going to show this to y'all. But y'all, look at that. So here's what the calculator's doing. Now I want to make sure y'all understand this because the percent button is not the same on every single calculator. And yes, this calculator, though it's not the exact same as the TEAS calculator, it works the same way. There is a percent key. Y'all, here's what the calculator's doing. It's taking whatever number you typed in, and since you're saying plus 20%, in the background, the calculator is finding 20% of 66, which is what we did right here, 13.2 square feet. It's finding that in the background, and it's going to go ahead and add that to the 66. The TEAS calculator does work like that, and I tell you what. So here is the TEAS calculator in all of its glory, and this is a drop-down thing. So notice I'm pressing buttons, I'm pressing clear. So y'all, here's how we can do it. I already forgot, what was it? 66. So if we take 66 square feet, we type in plus, what you'll see on the TEAS calculator, it actually keeps on showing you stuff that you type in. I'm going to type in 20. Whoops. Okay, let me clear that out. 60. Look, glitching. 66 plus 20. So I'm going to do a 2 and a 0. And then you're going to press this percent key. Now look at what it did there. What the heck happened? What the calculator just did. Let me do that again. Maybe y'all didn't see that. 66 plus 20, and watch what happens. When we press the percent key on the TEAS calculator, what it's going to show you for a second there is what the 20% actually is. Do y'all remember we got that 13.2 earlier? That was the 20%. Now if we press enter, okay, let me press enter on my keyboard. Look at what we get, 79.2. But I can use my number pad. If I want to type in 66 plus 4, I'm typing that on my keyboard. I press enter on my keyboard. You can use the number pad as well, so keep that in mind. So, that set aside, obviously here we would pay attention to the directions. It says round to the nearest tenth if necessary, so therefore we would type in 72.2 here. You would need that decimal. Oh, and not 72, 79.2. Now, if it did say round to the nearest whole number, then you wouldn't need a decimal. You would just say around 79 square feet. Here is the next thing, and what's going to happen on the math portion of the TEAS is you're going to have these things that you can slide around, and you want to put them in a certain order, and it's going to kind of like snap into place. It's not going to be as tacky as what mine looks like right here, but nonetheless, you want to put these things in order starting from the top down and put them in decreasing order. 1 minute and 30 seconds. Try it out. All right, so here we go. I think they're going to give you a few more than these. If I'm not mistaken, let me double check something real quick, y'all. This is the link that I have over on the notes that I'm going to share with you all tonight, by the way. So what's the differences? And then the ordered response. So check this out right here. These questions require students to place a set of response options in the correct order. Okay, look, you drag between 4 and 6 options from a box on the left to an empty box on the right. No partial credit, by the way. So there is no partial credit on any of these questions. It's either right or wrong. So you're dragging boxes, you're putting things in order, and that's what I've pretty much done here. Now, if y'all have watched my videos on putting numbers in order, y'all know exactly what I'm getting ready to say. Think about money. And on the TEAS calculator, even though it's not identical, the button setup, what you do is the same. 2/7, let's go ahead and divide this, and I want to think about money. So 2 divided by 7, I get 0.285714. And I mean, I know since I'm thinking about money, I'm thinking somewhere around like 29 cents. And the reason why I'm saying 29 cents is because that 5 is going to tell that 8 to go up. So 29 cents right there. 29%, you can convert a percent to a decimal by either shifting your decimal 2 places to the left or taking that percentage and dividing by 100. So 29%, we're going to think of that as 29 cents. We're thinking about money. Here's how you do the square root. Now, let me just kind of give you an overview. Think about these in your head. Maybe you know some square roots. For example, the square root of 25 is 5. If I type in 25 first, then we press the square root button. You might have to press equals on the TEAS, but nonetheless, this is how you can test and make sure you're doing the square root right. Do a square root that you know. For example, maybe you know the square root of 36 is 6. So just test that and make sure you're typing it in correctly. And once you've done that, you can do the ugly square roots. Ugly square roots, like the square root of 5. I don't know what the heck that is. I'm going to type it in. So I typed in 5, I pressed the square root. So this one is over $2. This is roughly $2.24 if we were to round off to the nearest penny. That 6 tells that 3 to go up. So roughly $2.24. And then finally, to convert a fraction to a decimal, just like I did with the 2/7, 111 divided by 50, that is going to be exactly $2.22. Now make sure you don't get it wrong when you get confused with decreasing and increasing. Decreasing order is when you go down. Think about this. If the temperature decreases, that means it's going from a higher temperature to a lower temperature. Heaven forbid our salary were to decrease from one year to the next. But if your salary decreases, it's going from a bigger amount of money to a smaller amount of money. So when something decreases, we're going from big to small. So which one's the most amount of money up here? The square root of 5. That would be the first one you drag over. Then we had this $2.22. And then be careful here. The 2/7 is not quite 29 cents, y'all. It's just a hair beneath 29 cents. Sure, it rounds to 29 cents, but it's still not quite there. 29% would be here, and then our smallest value would be 2/7. And now for the last one that I want to show here, like I said, on the practice test A and B of the new T7 resources, I did not see one. Maybe I overlooked it, but I didn't see one for a check all that apply. But even if they don't have it, that doesn't mean they won't put it there. And I think they could easily do this for the math section. So I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to include it in my resources. So here is our last math problem for the night. I'll hang out for a bit and answer some questions. But this is an example of where it's not multiple choice. You want to select all of the possible answers that you could do. So it's not just one answer, it might be more than one. So try that out. All right, last one of the night. So select all that apply. There's going to be some check boxes. That's another way to kind of hint at there's going to possibly be more than one answer. And it actually turns out there are, let me see what I got here. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 of these values up here that are the same. Now, 56/5 is an improper fraction, and we can still take a similar approach of where maybe we get all of these in the same form, like a decimal form. We're not putting them in order, but we can still get them all in decimal form, or you can keep them as a percent or a fraction. But let's take 56. Let's divide it by 5. So the decimal form, 56 divided by 5 is 11.2. Now, that is not 11.2%. 11.2 and 11.2% are two completely different numbers. But since 56 divided by 5 is 11.2, I'm definitely going to check that one. All right, well, something else we can do. Instead of converting all of these to decimal form, let's take this decimal and let's convert it to a percent. So either you can multiply by 100 or you can move your decimal 2 places to the right. Same thing either way you do it. So 11.2 times 100. This is a funky percent, but yes, it is 1,120%. So this is another choice. And automatically, if that's a choice, that's going to knock out the other percentage. And I mentioned earlier, that's not the percent. The 11.2 was the decimal. That's going to knock out the 112% as well. Now we have this improper fraction. Check it out. Let's take 224 divided by 20, converting that to a decimal. Bam, this is the same decimal as that. This is another match. And then we have two mixed numbers. In I think it was live session 12 and 13, I showed a mixed number shortcut for adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. There is a way that you can use the calculator and multiple choice to get rid of a lot of things that you have to remember for fractions. Like, do you get common denominators and all that junk? Well, what I showed in that live session is we can take, for example, let me take this one right here. 11 and 2/5. The 11 is our whole number, so it's going to be 11 point something. How do you get the point something? The same way we got the decimals all night tonight. Take your 2 divided by 5. 2 divided by 5 is going to be 0.4. Notice I am ignoring the 0 because the 11's already in the whole number spots. So that one doesn't match. That's 11.4. We want 11.2. So guess what? Let's see if this one matches. 11 1/5. That's going to be 11 point something. And 1 divided by 5 will give us that 0.2. So therefore, all 4 of these would be the checks or the select all that applies. Again, just to repeat that one more time, do y'all see how, even though I don't think I saw one of these on their new resources, but do y'all see how this could definitely be a possible math question? I hope so. But yeah, that's it. That's an overview. The material is the same. Now, I'm sure if y'all have heard people, giving their feedback, like a lot of people are getting some of the same questions, I am almost certain that the T7 is like when they do the math, the reading, the science and stuff, it's going to be an entire new question bank. I am almost certain of that. When it went from Ts 5 to T6, brand new questions all across the board. I don't know definitely. I don't work for them, but I could see them probably doing that, rewriting every single question. But y'all, math is math. And I'm going to stay up to date as I can. I've been doing this for a long time. Look at my older videos, So I'm definitely invested in helping you all tackle this. You get this behind you. Keep me in mind for med dosage. And y'all spread the word. The more y'all talk about how I'm helping, if I am helping, the more you all talk about how I'm helping you with math, it brings more people on board. And that's what keeps me doing what I do, the feedback from you all. So thank you all so much. I'm going to hang out and answer any questions, whether it be math related or any general questions. I'll hang out for a few minutes